Hey everyone, welcome to Mixlife episode 57? 57. Yeah, I'm here with Adam and Rick, as usual. Well, except for the fact that I'm here, that's probably not very usual now, right?
It's a special occasion. It's fine.
Right, let's celebrate, right?
Let's not make a big deal out of it.
Forgive my messy background today. I'm in the middle of remodeling and moving my office down here, so I'm on like a super temporary rig setup to accommodate future growth because my tiny office was getting really cramped. So, and like storage was like a disaster.
You can totally sell. You could be like, I'm in Italy right now. This is my Italian setup.
This is my Italian setup with all the kids' toys on the floor in the background and the cat carrier and the ironing board.
Your lakeside villa.
The dirty clothes on the stairwell there. Yeah, they're all Italian. It's all 100% Italian. Filthy fucking Italians.
Sorry, that's a spicy meatball.
That's a spicy meatball. All right. So what have you guys been up to?
Not much. Getting through season here. So this town, the town I'm from, is literally like 40% increase in people.
Oh, because of tourism and shit?
Yeah. So it turns into like gridlock traffic and the beaches are full, and then it just Mother's Day it just dies. It's kind of like the Jaws town, the town in Jaws, where they bank on tourism. So it's very refreshing that everyone's left.
The US says, holy shit, it's a house. Yeah, it's a much bigger space than that tiny cave I was working in upstairs. This is my kid's playroom, but he doesn't ever play in here anymore. So, but he really likes the upstairs, so we're just gonna trade. I think that's the whole plan.
The plane is over.
Right, he's done. He's done playing. Wait, so he just doesn't play with toys because he discovered Minecraft, right? So now the age of Legos is gone.
It goes Minecraft and then Overwatch, then Fortnite.
Yeah, that's going to be over, I'm sure. But for now, I'm cool with just Minecraft. Hi, Julia. Alaska Vapor. What's up, guys? Yeah, so I've just been busy trying to like get stuff ready for that. Like, yeah, I didn't realize how much shit I had up there. Like it seemed like all I had was just like a really overgrown mixing station, and that was pretty much it. But that's not true at all. Like there was a ton of other stuff. Jarvis is here. Hello. So yeah, for now, my storage problem is even worse, right? And I'll spare you the view. All my flavors are just piled in boxes next to me.
It's kind of a horror show. We got the sneak preview, and it scared me to my very core.
Showed them earlier, but yeah.
I haven't been doing much, actually. I've been kind of fighting burnout in terms of actually getting like flavor notes and stuff out. So I need to pull my head out of my ass and do that. Been doing a shit ton of pod testing, still working on some of that. Random fact, TPA Quince, super tart in a pod. I don't know what's going on there. So you need to make a pod tart, TPA Quince. There you go. That's my fun tip of the week.
Nice. I did a little bit before my pod systems broke. The two of them that I had, but it seems like I'm a klutz, right? It's like pod systems. It seems like they're a lot more fragile. So you break them once or drop them once or twice, and it's pretty much over.
Well, I also came to the realization that I have to actually go out and buy some damn rayon, because I've been breaking apart my pods and re-wicking them. Which isn't that bad with the setup of the one that I have now. You can kind of just like, they have a little bit of a plastic seal you can break and they go together okay again. But I had to figure out, I got like a little tiny 14 millimeter atomizer with the posts. And so I figured out that if I took tweezers and held like the bottom of the coil down, I could actually burn off the coil and make contact. Then I've been like re-wicking and putting together, but I figured the pod system I'm using doesn't have temp control. So rayon might actually help in that situation. So I'm basically gone completely down the rabbit hole at this point.
Yeah, I don't know about re-wicking pods. That sounds like... Oof.
Well, and I got a fucking pod system specifically because the pods for this one are cheap. They're like $1.50, $2, but like I you have to order them from China. So like, I don't have 3 weeks to sit around and wait for pods. And so I've been like busting stuff apart and rewicking it. And I've been putting in the testing. It's weird. It's a different paradigm to think about. And I'm not sure that I really like it so much, but it's been working okay. So
Chris Suarez says he wants to get started with DIY, but you want to mix strictly with Nick salts. Does Wizards have salts yet?
Are you of legal age?
Oh, yeah. I guess we should start asking that now.
Well, vendors can take care of that at this point.
Yeah, I mean, the vendors have to age verify anyways. I would personally order everything but the salts from Bull City Flavors, and then just order nicotine salts from Nicotine River or Nude Nicotine.
Did you guys see that email that got posted up? I think it was in the DIY subreddit. Apparently, Nude Nicotine is trying again to streamline their production stuff.
They already have, yeah. So they
cheaper.
So what they're doing is, because they were just always basically mixing to order, right? So they would only formulate nicotine to the order. So like they would take the orders over the weekend and formulate on Monday, basically, right? Which took forever. So now they're batch formulating like large batch nicotine of the most popular stuff, like the stuff that sells the absolute most. They do have like way more options as far as like VGPG mix base and nicotine potency. They have a million options. So I mean, it made sense for them to do it that way. But so they're just pre-producing more to like be able to fill orders faster. Basically, like so that's the gist of the email I got. And it was a couple of months ago, I think. Is there a new one?
Yeah, the new one I got said they're lowering their prices.
Well, that's even more promising because I'd go back to them if like, because their nicotine was stellar and it was close to like it was as good as Vapor's Tech, for the most part. So it's good stuff.
Yeah, I've been using their Nick Salt Smooth and
From Nude.
Yeah,
because
it was on sale and I like it.
I like it a lot. I tried theirs before and Nick Rivers at the same time. Nick River ended up winning the battle as far as what I was going to buy because it was like half the price, and I could still get free shipping if I ordered a couple of flavors, right, or some VG or something. So it worked out for me better that way. But if Nude's going to lower their price, I might think about that. Just cut that Nick River loose.
I'm convinced Graham and Concrete run AI bots in the YouTube chats because I never see him typing. He's always on camera. Well, Graham's on his convenience store cell phone in front of a convenience store. Probably doesn't have access to real internet. And then Concrete's always on some sort of YouTube show. And you can see him. He never looks like he's typing. But the bot's hilarious over here.
Yeah, no, the bot is where it's at. Actually, this is all pre-recorded, and I too am on a burner phone in front of a convenience store. Like that's the big trick. This is just a semi-sophisticated AI program and some visual imaging software. Since my internet connection is so bad, it doesn't have to be photorealistic. You only see like 8 pixels at a time anyway.
You're like MacGyver mixed with Silent Bob.
D Mellon said that Nick River says 250 milliliter Nick salt. Is that true? Do they really do that? They sell 250 milligrams?
I think I've seen that. They do go up the oh, fuck me. Okay. That's Nick salts right there. Yeah, they go up to 250 milligrams.
That's fucking shady. Don't buy that, people, right?
Well, they're
not for personal use.
They're high nicotine. Like the new standards is like the 30 to 6. Like they're saying the unmentionable convenience store vape that shall not be mentioned on this channel starts with the letter J. 60 milligram is the level that's supposed to be at. Like
for a pod system?
Yeah, for those pods, it's supposed to be 60 milligrams.
That's bonkers, man.
It's bonkers. Like they're even if you're vaping regular, when you start doing the higher nic salt, it's like feels like a step back.
The vape that must not be named.
Like, as an armchair Satanist, I'm kind of into that. That sounds badass. So we'll just call it the vape that must not be named. That sounds like fucking old school right there.
Right.
So as we're talking right now, the fucking Google AI does a automatic closed captioning, and I'm watching it on Wayne's DIY or Die in the mix the other night with Pretty Matt. And I'm watching it just like type out the words. And I'm like, well, that's how they find these channels. Is they've already got everything we've said in them. AI transcribed and shit. So.
Oh, God, Graham, don't start with that, you freako junkie. Can't deal with that. You guys. No, you got to do it under the toenail, not between the toes, man.
It's between. I don't want my mom to find out that I'm a nicotine addict.
Yeah,
I'm a teenage nicotine fiend. Only much older than that.
Under the nails, dude. Under the nails is always easy.
The Stopgap show got really weird 2 episodes ago.
I haven't watched it in a long time.
The last 10 minutes.
Everything gets weird. It's some weird combination of exhaustion, apathy, and misanthropy that just turns out on video each week. It's odd.
I've gotten so used to just vaping salt at low levels in an RDA now, like that. Even over 3 milligrams, I'm like, ugh.
You taste it.
Yeah, I can taste it.
Yeah.
It's also funny too because like I actually need to order some freaking VG based nic salts because the percentages I'm using in pods, like I'm limited if I want to go for a 50-50, you know, which is a weird fucking problem to have at this point. But here we go. I'm gonna have to switch to VG nic salts so I can get a high enough nicotine content to test it.
Yeah, it's true because that's what I bought from New Nicotine was the VG, and you run into like there's not enough room to hit the numbers you want to hit if you're doing like a 25% or 30% flavoring. You know, it starts to throw you off. That's another problem with the nic salt mixing, and it just kills everything. Like the nicotine if it doesn't kill the flavor on day one, it just destroys all the good nuance. Like it's
I mean, that's what mixing was like when we were still using fucking Nautilus minis, right? Or fucking egos, you know, because people leaving 3 milligrams is like unheard of, right? Like 6 was as low as you went almost all the time, and 12 and 18 were more common, and that's with regular freebase nic, you know. And trying to get flavor out of it. That's why things like companies like Flavor West were so popular back in the day, because like the only way you could get a really sweet juice, and like because you didn't have room for sucralose, right? It was just like flavor, nic, and VG basically, because you were using fucking 18 milligram fucking shitty Heartland vape nic that was sitting out on the counter for a week.
Hey, the color just means it's potent. That's what you gotta think.
It was all brown, man.
It's dark brown. It's that
you go to like
stuff.
a vape shop and like all the juice was just like that fucking dark, dirty brown.
That fucking My Freedom Smokes jump off right there.
Right, exactly that. Right, like I always freak out because I still see people like talking about buying stuff from My Freedom Smokes. I'm like, why would you ever give them money? Don't give them money ever for anything.
There's a layer of people that win the search on Google, and it's like Vape Wild and My Freedom Smokes. So if you just do a straight Google search and you don't come across like our stuff or e-liquid recipes, and you just kind of accidentally hit some of these older DIY articles, that's what they tell you is get like My Freedom Smokes nicotine and get going with like Sweet Strawberry, Capella.
I don't know why Shindo's thinking it's for a promo, but you're welcome. Unless I was promoting your mom.
You were promoting Stopgap, the greatest show in vaping.
But it's not a vape show. So how can I
Who knows what it is?
if it's not a vape show?
It's the Colton Ulrich show.
It's like it's like the Colton Variety Freak Show. You know? Nah, it's all right. I mean, it's cool. I would watch it more. I think if it was just on during a time where I could actually watch it. But.
No, I enjoy it. I like to watch Jerry get mad. I like to watch Colton boot Shendo. I think when he talks.
Oh no, he boots Graham. Graham gets booted almost constantly.
Graham, that's what was funny.
Well, because nobody can understand Graham. I'd boot him if he just like rolls in there and mumbles into his fucking like filthy $3 microphone, right? Like you can't tell if he's talking or doing a line.
It's a Nextel, and he's in a bathroom of a off-brand gas station near the strip.
It's a fucking truck stop, right?
And he somehow manages to be more interesting than anybody else.
Banging it out with him. While he's trying to do a stream.
I think it's just an accomplishment.
All right, man. If you say so, Graham. If you say so. And then you send those weird videos to that Facebook chat thing that we've had going for like a year. And it's terrifying. Did you see those, Adam?
The Illuminati chat?
Yeah, whatever it is. Ooh. I don't know. I got like 80 messages from them overnight, and I haven't looked yet. I'm terrified. I'm always terrified to look because I'm just like, I don't think I want to know. I have been digging through the vape train slowly but surely. They got some pretty cool stuff. Like I'm kind of jamming on that creaming soda they had, the cream soda or whatever. I think it might be like the missing key to like a really good.
The creaming soda.
Yeah, it's the title is weird. Creaming. So.
That doesn't sound like a real thing. Like, I'm sorry, half of this shit sounds like it's made up. Some good flavors,
I'm
but
pretty sure that everything in Australia is a little made up, anyways, right?
Yeah, there's some decent flavors. They're just completely imaginary. The fairy floss. What the fuck is that?
It's a candy.
I'm just happy that when they were making the Illuminati, I got an invite. That's what I feel good about.
Yeah, see, but you got to go one step beyond that and get to the secret lizard people chat. That's where you see some real awesome dictating membranes.
That sounds good, actually. I like that, right? So I can like just talk to Senator Cruz like right on Facebook.
Yeah, no, and it's cool too because like we just hang out and eat flies together and shit. It's awesome.
Yeah, have you ever watched the Senate hearings?
Yeah, I watch them all the time.
Ted Cruz is without a doubt, he's coming from left field in a way where he hasn't listened to a word that's happened the last 2 hours. And the 5 questions he's going to ask are going to be like 100% political related. Doesn't matter who they're interviewing. And then it leaves like half the people that get questioned just dumbfounded. Like they just are like, what the fuck? Like
what just happened?
Yeah, it's very comedic. If you're looking for like some highbrow comedy, watching the Congress try to ask normal questions.
The only person I ever like to watch in any of those is Trey Gowdy. And I'm not particularly a fan of his policies, but that man is like a glorious debate, like genius, right? He's just good at tearing people to shreds. And it's like he's pissed off at every single person they've ever interviewed.
Yeah.
And he just fucks with them, and it makes me happy.
Okay, fun Trey Gowdy fact, though. He was on a bunch of episodes of Forensic Files, and I don't know if anybody else binge watches old episodes of Forensic Files.
Are you on Netflix? I'm going to watch it now.
Yeah, he's in a couple. I don't know which ones particularly, but I'm sure Google will tell you. But he was like a prosecutor, and so he's in a bunch of episodes of Forensic Files. And it's funny because he looks exactly the same, but his hair looks like it was dyed. Like it looks like that man is supposed to have gray hair.
Yeah, he is supposed to have gray hair. I'm pretty sure. He was like born for it. But anyways, I just like watching that guy like freak out all the time. It makes me super happy.
It kind of worries me how much I like old episodes of Forensic Files. Like if I need something to kind of like fall asleep on the couch to, you just put on a marathon of Forensic File episodes. And I think it probably says there's something fucked up about me that like, and they were murdered and cut into 14 pieces. And I'm like, this is reassuring, soothing entertainment. And I want to fall asleep to it. There's something wrong there.
You should watch The Evil Genius.
Criminal Minds is my go-to
this is
show.
It's new on Netflix. It's like 4 hours long.
What is it?
It's called Evil Genius.
Oh, I already watched that at work.
Yeah, that was pretty good. That's a good one. What we're doing is we're trying to confuse the YouTube algorithm by talking about different things. Politics. We're talking about movies.
We're playing 4-dimensional chess here, and y'all playing checkers asking for gold.
We are a news show reporting on e-liquid and other various topics. How about that, princess?
We're happy to answer any mixing questions you might have. Chestina, is that? I'm probably saying that wrong, right? Probably.
Chestina.
Yes.
Or questions about Trey Gowdy, if you have any Trey Gowdy related questions.
Right. Or what the best shows on Netflix are, because I have been like neck deep in Netflix for like a month. You know, we could sit here and talk about like flavors all the time, but the truth is it gets really fucking boring, right? Like just talking about whatever. We have Noted for that. We have other kinds of other flavor review shows. We're really more like a variety group. Sometimes we have something like big and new, but most of the time, like we just like to hang out and whatever. That's what we do.
We're just living our daily vlog on YouTube. Right.
Oh my God, Adam, shut up.
So smash that like and subscribe button.
Hit the bell.
This is like the sharers or whatever. Did you guys ever see that horrible stuff? My kid used to watch. Like, I mean, it's cool. Like we do put out information and we do a lot of stuff otherwise, but
Stopgap for me is like my hurricane beacon that will let me know when shit's coming my way. Because if Stopgap falls, that's when I would worry.
It's the canary in the coal mine of low value content. So
right.
The day that show's gone, then I know YouTube's got their shit together, and I need to go back to selling burgers because my YouTube dollar is not going to feed me anymore.
Right.
Shit, you're getting paid for being on YouTube?
I think we make collectively like $1 an episode, maybe sometimes.
No.
Not even.
Or $1 a month, maybe.
$1 a month. That's it.
Also, I'm going to be selfish here. I'm going to shout out Julia Sue for the review of Cherry Hills on the Chef's Facebook group. Thank you very much. Very much appreciated. I'm glad you dig that juice. So there you go. That's my personal note.
Speaking of Julia Sue, she deserves a lot more than that. She has reviewed like a ton of our flavors. She did both of mine. I think she's done 1 or 2 of yours. She did one of Adam's or one of Jen's.
Mm-hmm.
And I do believe that she didn't receive them all for free. So she's taken a lot of time and effort to make like a nice picture and write really wonderful reviews. So thank you very much. We definitely appreciate it. Super
very
cool.
Much.
I'm glad you like super glad. So you do really well. You do really good reviews. You should do them more.
So we did have a mixing related question from Chris Juarez in the chat, who is 36. I think we clarified something like that. I'd like to know how to adapt a recipe I like to Nick salts. Do you have to up the flavor percentage? So if you're just using Nick salts in place of freebase nicotine, don't worry about it. If you're trying to throw it in a pod, then yeah, you're gonna have to like mess with some of the flavoring percentages. There isn't really any hard or fast reasons to make a recipe, like ways to make a recipe work well in a pod right now, so it's a little bit more trial and error, but you'll generally have to crank the flavor up a little bit.
And the caveat to mixing recipes for pod systems is that usually you just have to pick like 2 or maybe tops 3 flavors, because you lose a lot of flavor in transition, and you need to just crank up like 2 primary notes and kind of ditch the idea of having really complex flavors in the pod system, because it just, I mean, you can do it probably, but the balancing them is going to take ages, as opposed to like how quick and easy it is to do in an RDA or like in a regular sub-ohm device. Yeah.
So he's saying it's for a Breeze 2, and I don't have a Breeze 2, but from what I've seen on them, it's actually like a pretty big pod system. So I would.
Those are the 0.5 ohm, right?
Yeah, it seems more just like a sub-ohm, like a self-contained sub-ohm tank. So yeah, you probably won't have to change the flavor.
Yeah, you shouldn't
at all for that. Yeah, you should be fine.
Those are 0.5 ohms, I'm pretty sure, which is plenty powerful enough to still get lots of good stuff out of it. So yeah, you shouldn't really need to, just still go a little thinner on the VG ratio. You're not going to want to do like 70-30 in that probably. Do like 60-40 or 50-50. Other than that, it should be fine.
It's hard. It's hard, but you got to think about what's pods, like what your milligrams going to be too. Because if you're trying to do something crazy like 35 or 40% for your nicotine,
no way,
dude. That's what they're doing though. That's
what people are doing. I think it's bunkers.
It's like the shops are like. I just saw Milkman did their whole line in Nick salts, and I was like, how shitty did they have to go for those? See, that's what, like, Charlie Noble did that too, and I thought that was crazy. He was trying to just put out a Nick salt version of something that's layered and really defined.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how. Like, I tried a pod system with even just 36 milligrams, and it was brutal, dude. It was really brutal.
I've kind of settled on 30 milligrams, but then again, like, it's a 1.8 ohm coil running at like 7 volts.
Right, but like, so when I first started vaping, right, and I quit smoking, like, I was still only using like 12 milligrams in mouth to lung, right, with the same like 1.6 or 1.8 ohm mouth to lung setup, like an Autolus Mini, right? I mean, an Autolus Mini is basically like a big pod, anyways, power wise and airflow wise. And it just, I tried a 36 milligram salt solution in that, and it was like, it was just way too much. Like, I think I'm just too sensitive to it now. But I just don't feel like I know that people really like that, and the flavor wasn't bad, and it was just too harsh for me. So I'm definitely like still 18 milligram max in in a mouth to lung device, but I think it's just me.
Yeah, I feel like I should clarify. I think I meant watts instead of volts. I don't know what voltage this is running at.
Yeah, 7 volts would be a lot, probably.
Yeah, it's 7 watts.
That'd be like 20 watts, 25 watts.
Probably. So 1.8 ohms at 7 watts. So you have a little bit more play there. I don't know, like, I get that people want higher nicotine content. It keeps, like, it does the whole cigarette replacement thing better. I get spoiled because I like long, luscious waves of flavor. And you don't really get that out of a pod. That's kind of my own damage. I mean, like, the thing is, you can't push the market where we're at, so I'm just trying to fucking figure out a way around it to try to make a decent product.
God damn it, Leilani.
Concrete River.
Thank you for the $5. We will certainly approach this supercalifragilisticexpialidocious recipe. So what I'm going to do is 0.2%
Concrete just got
letter.
Concrete got hired for a recipe.
Yep, there's $5.
No, see, I'm thinking like a spin on your jazz hands or something, Copel. Just make it happen.
All right.
some floral nonsense in there. Just make it all work.
All right, cool. There's some shit in there, right? That'll work. I don't know. Excuse me. Do I use the food database? Food B database? I don't know what he's asking. And Hall asked if I use the food D database, but I don't know what that means. Can you?
So I'm guessing not.
Yeah, probably not. I use flavornet.com for some things, right? To break down flavorings. It's just a database of like aroma volatiles, so it's not food related.
Did you ever release a gin fizz, Christopher?
A gin fizz?
Yeah.
No, I've done a bunch of gins though. Really, if you stock my e-liquid recipes, there's probably like 5 or 6 recipes for. I used Flavor Monk's gin though, which is probably a problem. If it's easy for you to get Flavor Monk's gin, then it's probably great. But if you try to switch it and use Flavor Art gin, you won't get good results. And I have a Vape Train gin around here somewhere, but I haven't got to it yet.
Don't go looking for it.
No, not today. Not today.
You're gonna die in a flavor avalanche if you start going through that.
I'm terrified, guys. I'm terrified. All right, so it's a super big mess, but just so you can all see how terrifying my storage scenario is here. Right, we just have this sea of boxes, and then some big totes full of concentrates, and I still haven't moved everything down here, so there's probably still like 500 more, 600 more flavors upstairs. Yeah. So I won't be mixing for a while or releasing any recipes. So it'll be yeah, that's pretty much it, right? It's a fucking nightmare right now, but I'll get there. Don't worry. Have faith. I gotta build a bunch of shelves. Yeah, so that was the whole point of moving to this new room, right? I know I've talked with probably a bunch of people in chat in here about it. Was it in the old office? It was impossible to build shelves because I had like the angled ceilings, and like I couldn't put shelves. Everything had to be low to the ground, and I didn't want to have to bend over all the time. And plus, my cats would knock everything off everywhere. So now I have these big, nice, tall walls that are nice and flat, and I can actually install some shelving and actually be functional again. Yeah, no, the desk that I know that probably there's a picture of it floating around my old desk. No, it's not coming down here because it won't come apart. So we're starting from scratch. But that desk is, it was a good idea at the time. But like, yeah, because it was way too deep, right? Because it was like 3.5 feet deep. So I could only see the front row, and then there's like 50 flavors behind it that I would have to like sit there and do this, pulling flavors out until I found the one I wanted. Thanks for your vote of confidence, Julian. Appreciate it. Well, this is like a temporary scenario, but I just moved everything down here, and I had to move it down here so that I could move the stuff that's in here out of here. So, and then I ran out of time before our show today. So, there we go. That's that.
Everything was going to be set up and beautiful. Don't worry about it. We'll make it work.
Eventually, you'll probably see me like this for like a month, and then it'll be like functional again.
Oh shit! So have y'all tried Sugarloaf Pineapple by Vape Train? That's one that I'm fucking with a lot lately. I really like that pineapple.
I love it, but do you get like an off musk note from it? Like really sharp musky note?
Not so much. I think I get like a little bit of like a sulfury thing, but I didn't notice it was that bad at like 3 and 7%, I think is where I tested it.
I think I tried it at like 3.5% or 4%. And I got like it's just like a weird muskiness. It faded after like 3 days though.
Okay, that might be part of it because yeah, my samples I think have been steeping for a couple weeks by the time that I tried it. I dug it. I just want to figure out something to actually do with it. I've been fucking around a little bit with grapefruit and pineapple and trying to do something like summery and bright and breezy and stuff. I just haven't got the balance right on it. I've also been.
If you want to come help me build shelves, yeah, you're welcome to.
I've also been fucking around a lot with Vape Train's Honey Pomelo, which is
fucking good.
It's a good pomelo flavor. Like, I didn't know that I needed an accurate pomelo flavor, but here we are, you know? I think Nicotine River, the Perilum, had a pomelo that was okay, but it was a little weird and musky. The Vape Train Honey Pomelo is great. You just have to kind of like pomelo, which is an odd situation to be in. Yeah,
it's kind of a strange flavor to begin with, but I like it. I appreciate it. I think I've got maybe like a little over a third through the way of the whole line now, which is much slower than I usually like to go, but I've been trying to be a little more meticulous.
I feel bad because like I'm definitely focused on fruitier stuff when it comes to vaping. And so like I have all these creams and all this other stuff I haven't tested. I've just been like knocking out some of the fruits here or there. And
the banana custard. It's pretty good. All the custards are good. The warm custard, I'm having a hard time identifying the actual spices in it because they're kind of muddled. But yes, Julia, we are planning on releasing more one-shots to Chef's Flavors. We haven't talked to Lewis and Carl specifically, but usually like we start talking about it in early June. Right, so, and then I don't know. I'll probably hit them up this week and see what their time frame is. Yeah, Adam, I think maybe.
Yeah, because last time we hit summer, supposed to be first week of July, and I think we did mid-month of July. So.
Oh yeah, we were a little behind last year.
It's like a late summer.
Yeah.
But we rolled the 28 out in was it March or mid-March?
Yeah, middle of March. So we still got to give them like time to decide, because every time we do like a cycle, it'll be like they want to keep flavor X and then add one new flavor, right? So for each person, they're going to look at their 2 flavors and decide, you know, this one's doing really great. We want to keep it. Like, let's add one new flavor and take the other one down. So it'll probably be a little more tedious this time.
You should just do all German recipes.
Right. So we can get in on that bean and stitch action.
Yeah.
So what does cold efficiency taste like?
What does cold efficiency taste like?
Don't even get your joke.
Did I miss something?
It's some deep reference that Concrete has.
I want to make a recipe that tastes like a Kraftwerk song.
Kraftwerk song? Oh boy, right?
See how deep the levels were on that joke?
Lord.
Levels to this shit, man. There's levels to this shit.
I haven't thought about Kraftwerk since like 1992, man. Here. Like when people still actually listen to them.
Also, that got saucy in the chat, and I'm not saying no.
What happened?
Let's move on.
Now I'm trying to read and catch up and figure out what I missed.
Whoa, Lord. They saved the chat now. So.
No, I think I'm getting burnt out on WS23, which I didn't think was going to happen, but here we are.
You know, I was actually just talking to Dave about this yesterday or the day before. We were going over some recipes, and I can't get past it. Like, it's just too much for me. I really like this stuff, but I don't like it over like 0.25%, maybe 0.5%, depending. And then it's just like exhausting after a little while, and I can't vape it all day. I mean, it's nice and all, but it's like,
and it's better than some of the other available options too. I think
the flavor wise, it's perfect, right? Like, it's great. Like, it doesn't taste weird or off or anything else like that. The cooling is really, I'm 100% behind that.
Like, I think it's a really useful tool, and I think it definitely is a more useful tool than Culotta. But like, in terms of just actual taste profile or like the way it works, I think I still like straight menthol.
I do like menthol better. Yeah, I do.
It just doesn't fit a lot of places. And
it's not so invasive, right? Menthol is not so. I mean, even though it has a definite flavor, like, it just it doesn't like brutalize my sinus cavities the way WS23 does. Like, WS23 is like it's like an assault on my sinuses.
I dig that like really sharp menthol hit. It's just, yeah, I think I'm just burnt out on WS23. He needs to just start fucking around and adding more WS5 and WS23 together and see if I can do something that seems a little bit more interesting right now.
No, Julia, you're right. Menthol absolutely doesn't work with everything. There's tons of stuff that menthol doesn't work with, and WS23 can go in a lot more recipes. It's a lot more versatile. It's just a flavor I think it's just a level of cooling kind of preference for me. Like the way WS23 affects my sinuses is just a lot less offensive to me than WS23. It just kicks my ass, man.
I'm over here trying to think of what I could say controversial that will anger someone in the cooling community.
Right. Well, as much as I love all of our beautiful chef's customers, I don't know how you crazy fucks vape 3% WS23 all the time. Like, I don't. What the fuck is wrong with you? It's cold over there all the time, anyways.
Controversial.
No, all right, that was it. Wasn't that exciting? It's really cold though over there, like all the time, and they vape this super cold stuff, and I'm like, are they just all masochists? I don't know. Maybe.
Oh shit.
People in the UK, like a lot of chef's customers, are really big fans when they're talking. I see in the groups all the time. They're talking about vape 20 WS23 and like 2 or 3%, and I just like I can't even get over 1%. It's violent, right? I'm just like, oh, God, how can you do that? It's fucking hot in the UK at the moment, right? But your hot season is like, I don't know, just doesn't seem like it's that bad, right?
Dude, I'm originally from the Pacific Northwest. I'm sure it's not that much colder over there.
Well, I know, but I know it's cold here. I wasn't implying that it was colder there than it is here, just that it's cold in general, right?
Weather controversy.
Normally it's dank.
We're fucking edgy as fuck today. Come on.
I don't know, man. Fuck it.
We're gonna trend in all the topics.
Yeah. See, I'm the same as Mike Leahy's. 0.25% usually enough for him. Yeah, it's too much, man. Too much for me, anyways. It's a dry hot. That's fair, Julian. You're in Spain. It's colder. It's warmer there, generally speaking. Edgelords. Oh, Graham. You can't sit from your truck station fucking shower stall
and judge upon us.
Right.
I'm just kicking back and enjoying this dialogue.
Running your fucking declined credit card over the counters to see if you can scrape up enough coke for a hit. And call me
using a baby changing table as your laptop stand.
Hey, the struggle's real, my dude. Oh boy. No, I've been fucking around a lot with summer stuff. I don't know. My big issue with summer stuff, and I'm gonna sound like a horrible fucking elitist here, but my big problem with summer stuff is it's really easy to make something that's pleasant. It's hard to make something summery that's interesting. You ever run into that?
I agree. Like springtime was a recipe I did like last year. It was like elderflower and pink guava and stuff. And it's super interesting and fun and refreshing, but I don't think I've ever like got back to there again, right?
Like I have this new jihad against like also that's a word I shouldn't say on YouTube.
Yeah. Definitely not.
I have this whole thing with tropical fruits now where I'm like questioning all of my tropical fruit stuff just because I'm like, yeah, this tastes good, but like, what is it trying to do? Because they have like shared aroma volatiles, I'm guessing. I don't know. I'm not a scientist, but
they don't really.
They like turn into one big block of something like vaguely tropical, and it's hard getting like definition on that.
Yeah, with tropicals, I found most of the time I have to like ease off the layering with them, right? I use like one or two, like jackfruit and pineapple or whatever. Usually, I use a lot of jackfruit as like a base, right? And then pineapple or mango or whatever on top. And then I try to find something completely different to like fill in the gaps, like pear or apple or something else. I think I get a little more definition that way.
Because like I realize that mango's over, but I'm still messing around with mangoes a lot, and I kind of find that with mangoes, it's like
it's never over.
Well, it's been declared. I don't know. I don't make the rules.
Well, Dave,
ID10T ruined it.
Rosewater berry mix. All right.
It's It's never over, he says from the chat, screaming at his phone to type quicker.
Right.
Mango's still real to me, damn it.
I can see the veins popping out of his head right here.
I can trigger an ID10T rant so quickly, so fast. Flavoric
I am a little burnt out on Flavora Mango though.
And Flavoric cream too.
No, I don't think I'll ever burn out of Flavora cream. That stuff's great.
People use it as a crutch.
Dude, all of my mixing is just crutches. Like I don't think you can call it a crutch when I mix just because it's all crutches.
3% vanilla swirl is not a fucking crutch, all right? It's delicious and it works every fucking where. Everywhere.
Actually, my new super elitist mixing crutch is Flavora Smooth Vanilla at like 0.25%. I've yet to find a juice that doesn't work in.
I have to go do something for a second. I'll be right back.
So, like, if you're going to use mixing crutches, you might as well go expensive. Hey, so how is everybody in chat doing? Because apparently I just got ghosted. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to talk at length about why you maybe shouldn't be mad about paying $17 for a vanilla flavor. I really like it, which is probably a good enough justification. Also, I feel naked and alone out here. So let's see what the chat can do, people. Oh, shit. Yeah, no, I'm going to be a Noted tomorrow talking about vanilla. I'll save my rant about why smooth vanilla is actually a good thing for tomorrow. So watch Noted tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern on the DIY or Die Network.
I thought that'd be great.
Yeah, there we go.
Give Rick the reins for a minute.
Oh, no, it's okay. It went horribly. It turns out I have nothing to say if I'm not just talking shit about other people. It's terrible.
You're all welcome for that.
Oh, mango or pineapple with a Red Bull. What flavoring gives the effervescence? I mean, theoretically, the Red Bull would add some of that like sharpness that kind of stands in for effervescence. I don't know. It's pretty good. Actually, I've been fucking around with, I have developed a renewed fondness for Flavor West's Red Bull, which is really cleverly named as like an actual bowl. But yeah, kind of underrated flavor at this point.
Oh, do you guys like my sweet pajamas?
No, I was busy reading the chat and trying to sound coherent.
Oh, okay.
I caught it.
That's good, man. Batman.
He's unimpressed.
Forever.
Got the Batman jammies.
Fuck yeah, dude. Goodness. What did I miss? What were we talking about? What flavors?
I left Concrete too. I made him improv by himself for a minute.
Fly solo for 5 minutes. Did I miss anything good?
Yeah, you missed absolutely nothing. It's fine. So like I know nobody else, you don't want more of my opinion on vanilla, but the Flavora vanilla bean is the cheaper one. It's like $6.49. So that one is the cheaper one. The smooth vanilla is the expensive one.
I liked vanilla bean. It's really weak, I think. I didn't get a lot of flavor out of it, but it's good.
It reminds me of like a darker, okay. It reminds me of Flavor Arts vanilla bourbon done like TPA's just straight vanilla. Like it doesn't have any body, but it's a little bit darker and spicier. It just feels like a darker vanilla to me.
Yeah. Smooth vanilla is the one that's like what, like $20 a bottle or whatever.
Smooth vanilla requires a literal contract with the devil to get 15 milliliters of it, but it's pretty cool.
It's cool stuff. I like it. I don't know. It's hard to make recipes with it that are accessible though, just because. But smooth vanilla, it's absolutely delicious. But like, I have a hard time like justifying suggesting it to people when I feel like you could get pretty close without spending $20.
I have a recipe in my pod system right now that uses Flavora's coconut, which is $12.49 for a 15 milliliter. Flavora's Alpine strawberry, which is $17.49 for a 15 milliliter, and smooth vanilla, which is like $17.99. So I'm biased at this point. We'll just throw my opinion out.
You should make a juice called the $100 juice, and it just be like 6 Flavora. Put some rich cinnamon to finish it. So it's going to cost you $100 to buy these flavors to make this juice.
But on the bright side, it will make gallons of that juice for $100.
Yeah, it's true. I guess the flip side of most of those flavors that are like $20 for 15 mil. Is that you get a lot of mileage out of them. Like I can't use Alpine over a 1/4% really, or it gets way too chemically for me.
I like Liquid Barn vanilla ice cream.
I don't think apple filling's that strong.
I'm a fan.
Apple filling's not that aggressive, I don't think. It kind of has like a cap, right, where adding more doesn't really get you more, but like it doesn't just keep getting worse and worse and worse. Because I've taken it up to like 1.5%. I haven't had any problems.
It's like a weird apple. The filling part's perfect, and then it's like.
But the apple is a little.
Yeah, I like it.
It's a little off.
I like it over cherry or strawberry fillings.
I like it. It reminds me of the inside of a McDonald's apple pie that doesn't quite taste like apple. It just tastes like warm.
Yeah, and there's like a little bit of that. What's the word like for like those kind of like smushed ass apples? There's like a name for it, but I can't remember. But yeah, I usually have to add an extra apple to it to get actual apple out of it.
Applesauce?
No, not applesauce. Like those, like it's like that weird gooey sugar coating that's on the outside of the apple, right? Like it's just the syrup that comes from cooking down apples.
Reduction?
I guess it's kind of a reduction, but it's like a caramelization more, right? It's like but it's just the wet caramelization on the outside of the apple, not actually eating the apple itself.
Yeah.
Okay, they're talking about this in the chat, and I now want to track it down to try it. That fizzy nicotine stuff. Like, anybody have an idea what the fuck's going on there? Because I'm honestly interested.
It's got to be like. It's got to be a sham, dude. There's just no way. Like, I don't know. I mean, it's probably just like citric acid in the nicotine like solution or something like that.
I mean, that fizzy herbal alternative nicotine supplement, because we don't talk about nicotine on this show.
We're fucked either way.
Yeah, we're screwed.
Could be tricidin. Yeah, Apex Fed, you're probably right.
I'm going to put it all on the blockchain.
Good Lord. Right.
Let's put it on the blockchain and profit. We're now mixing blockchain. So
I'm gonna turn all these episodes into some sort of blockchain code, and they'll live forever.
And today we learned that Adam has autism.
It'll be undeletable. Get in line, Adam. I think we're all on a spectrum here at E-Juice Makers.
It just the spectrum of awesomeness. Come on.
Spectrum of awesomeness. So the FDA is going to come and raid your local vape shop and take a bunch of kitty flavors. That's going to happen. So look forward to that as your next news headline.
You know, frankly, I'm really happy about that.
Yeah, I don't mind it.
I'm thrilled about it, right? Not only does it not affect me and never will affect me, but like I had to start somewhere, right?
What it's going to do is it's going to like shake the industry out, because I think there's a lot of these guys that are over here like, I'm a reputable vendor, and then hidden behind it is their like budget juice brands. So you're going to see a lot of these guys that have come out as kind of like saying they're all about responsibility also be linked to like some budget juice brand that's going to like mix up the industry. But while all this goes on, Juul is just straight up taking over
they've had a large market share since their first year, right? They took like 40% of the market share their first year of business. Now they're up to like 60% of the market share.
60%. So there won't we're gonna find ourselves in a tiny little market share.
Try my apple juice, Chris Juarez.
I don't know. Like, I'll be the guy playing the devil's fucking advocate here. Like, granted, there's a bunch of stupid labeling, but the idea that you can get past the labeling and start picking on individual flavors doesn't bode well for anybody.
So no, the flavor. I absolutely have the dispute about the flavoring, but I'm really happy that they're gonna target the advertising. Like that's a factor, right? The advertising is a factor, and they said specifically that they were going to be pulling companies that were advertising to children. They didn't say we're going to target companies that are producing flavors that appeal to children. They said we're going to target companies that are like advertising directly to children with labels like Candy King, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, the flavor dispute is it's like kind of separate in that regard, at least to me. Maybe I misread it, and I haven't been following things very closely the last month. I've been really busy. So.
Well, I just feel like the thing with these regulations is, like, granted, the vaping industry did a shitty job self-regulating their IP theft and like cartoon characters and shit. But like, once you let people into confiscating bottles of juice based on some arbitrary metric, it just goes from there until we're all vaping fucking Philip Morris brand bold tobacco pods.
Not me. Did you see the stash over here? I'll be vaping whatever the fuck I want. I'm just saying. It's right. Not. I don't think it's never going to come to DIY. First of all, but that's like a really selfish stance to take, and I'm obviously concerned for the rest of the industry as well, especially since part of that industry I'm reliant upon to eat. So, but I've always had a pretty ethical approach, and I've turned down contracts for companies that I believed would be using those flavors to target for children. Plus, doing candy flavors is just fucking boring. It's a mixing, right?
Yeah, it's like, from a marketing standpoint, it's lazy as hell too, because you're just like, you're riding the coattails of whatever brand you copy, and then you have to, they're going to get around to taking all your money. They're just taking their time. They're letting you earn all your money, and then they're going to come and sue you for profits over the last 3-5 years. Those guys, like,
and even if the thing with those lawsuits is, even if the awards get reduced and it ends up being like a trivial fine or whatever, there's a lot of companies out there that just fighting that entire process is going to drive them straight into the ground.
Oh yeah. Your billable lawyer hours at $400 an hour are there's no way to win. You lose either way. So I don't know. It's interesting. The U.S. for us has been kind of like a stop sign since August 8th, or else you end up being in some sort of weird half legal thing that's going to potentially,
for us to create new intellectual property for people to sell in the United States, but it's just like, I just don't even really want to be tied to it, right? Like, I don't want to be tied to companies that are skirting the rails or doing whatever they want, regardless of the problem. So, I think theoretically we could be working for U.S. companies. I think it's just a net loss in the long run, right?
Yeah, this is, to me, is like, it's the early days of internet, or the pets.com era, so there's going to, all these brands are going to reshuffle. Our business model can kind of just float through to the other side, where whatever vaping becomes, we're still valuable to that, whether it's a non-US thing or whether it's, I think there's a chance, like the way the FDA has kind of been positioning themselves is like they want a pharmaceutical level piece of vaping. Like they want
big pharma wants a pharmaceutical level piece of vaping, where like everybody that talks about how big tobacco is like lobbying us out of the industry doesn't really understand, or maybe doesn't really realize that tobacco growth has only been exponential since vaping became popular, right? Like we didn't hurt Philip Reynolds at all. We didn't make a dent. They've grown. In fact, since vaping started, they were having a decline in sales, right? And then they've only had net growth year over year since they started buying up Juul and Views and Blue, right?
The Blue, yeah.
Like they've only scaled upwards. We're not hurting big tobacco, but we are hurting other cessation methods in the industry.
Patch and the gum.
The patch and the gum and all that other stuff. Like they'll basically, like, they're at a point now where they give it away. You know, they just take it right here. Just take it so that you'll buy it next time. Right? They'll give you a huge starter pack of this stuff that's really expensive to produce, right? And just so you'll try it, and then hopefully get hooked on it or whatever, or it will work for you.
Yeah, my girlfriend used the patch for like 3 or 4 months and just couldn't quit, but would still pay $50 every 2 weeks for trying to get it.
Exactly. We hurt big pharma way more than we ever affected big tobacco. If we're gonna go full tinfoil hat on this whole conversation, right?
Yeah, I bet you'll see Juul get bought by the pharmaceuticals, and it turned into a.
I don't think tobacco will ever give up their share of Juul.
I don't think the tobacco owns the Juul. I think it's. I mean, unless they did private funding, I think it's still an independent.
Chantix was terrifying. Chris Juarez just said he actually tried Chantix. I went like legitimately psychotic on Chantix, like borderline homicide. Like super crazy.
That's like the pharmaceutical pill or something like that.
Yeah, it makes people fucking bonkers, man. Like super bonkers.
Originally for chanting.
But Pax Labs is born from a partnership with the Japanese tobacco company. That's where Juul came from, right? And they still have ties to all that. So they may not own it. They're still involved with big tobacco, right? There's still money going back and forth there.
But I think so. My tinfoil hat. I think the Juul type products will be regulated as high nicotine products. Anything over, say, like 10 milligrams is a high nicotine product. Dangerous needs to be over the counter, pharmacy needs to have a doctor, some shit recommendation. And then they turn vaping that we care about type of thing, like into the 18 and up, head shop style. You want to build, or you want to go deeper in the industry type of stuff, that's over here, 18 and up, treated like a head shop. And then the Juul systems that are encroaching on the cigarettes, that gets pharmacy. Because that's how he's talking. The guy at the FDA is talking like, well, he started introducing the pharmacy and the over-the-counter wording. And then the other thing they're all about is in these warning letters, the very next lead paragraph they talk about is confiscation. So that's their next move, is to just like roll into the shops and take the kitty flavors off your shelf, which will fuck with some profits. There's some shops that are going to be like, not just take a hit on the sales of it, but actually to lose the inventory. It'll be interesting.
Well, you'll see some jackass local sheriff posing in front of a pile of Candy King juices. It'll be like the cocaine busts down in like Peru or some shit.
Yeah,
they've been doing that with CBD in Houston and I think Tennessee or something. They've been confiscating. So yeah, you're gonna see same thing.
Sheriff Buford T. Justice posing with his fucking pile of just confiscated goods, burning it or something. It's going to be just a PR nightmare.
This show's for adults only. We don't endorse any of that bullshit with the children. If you're a kid, go find something better to do with your life. That's our warning.
There we go. That's our one-time disclaimer. We're not going to repeat it every show. Get used to it. And that is pretty much a wrap. Be sure to check out our one-shots and flavors. The links are in the description of the video. If you haven't already liked and subscribed, do that because we're cool.
Smash that like button.
I was waiting. I was hoping you guys would do that. All right. Have a good weekend, everybody. Enjoy your Sunday. Party hard.
Later. Party out, man.